That has got to be the weird music. I still cannot get used to that music, dude. I can't. I can't. I can't. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Razorback Zach, live from the 2024 Little Rocktoberfest with continued post-game coverage of the Southwest Classic, joined in a historic, monumental moment, which I don't know if you're ever going to come back, but I've got Matt Hart from HogHQ joining me as my special guest this evening, and we are going to continue our coverage live from the 2024 Little Rocktoberfest, breaking all the games down of the day. And Matt, I got to tell you, man, during post game with MC and Jesse, we covered a lot of things. But is there any chance, any opportunities, anything at all that shows a little promise that we are going to get better?
Yes, I mean, we're battling injuries. We've got, Has and Armstrong went out a little bit. You've had Jackson that's been banged up during games. We're getting into the more physical part of the season. The last two games have been pretty physical, even though they've been kind of sloppy. Um, you got Taylor Green, who's a work in progress, who's getting a little, I would say he's getting a little better, even though it was not the outcome we wanted. And he did throw a pick and he did have a slump in his passing because it did start hot, 8 of 11. So you do have that to look at, but the defense is just tightened up. They made adjustments. You had Elko, a defensive coach, make his adjustments, and it started really end of the first quarter, middle of the first quarter, after our second, third drive. That's when you really saw their defense starting to tighten up. We weren't getting the stuff we were really getting. That's when we started going to the special play, whether it was called or not. So you just have all that happening. But again, we come back to mistakes that cost us. Now, we can debate about the play that we talked about. We can debate about that. But I still think it's correctable. It's fixable. Now, I wish we had more talent, more depth, whatever, in a couple of positions. It would definitely be nice. But the defense is holding up. The defense is going to be a rock. They're going like they did last year. Honestly, they weren't as good last year as I think they are this year, but they held up until they kind of let go of the ropes at the Mississippi State game. Even though that was what, a 7-3 game. So that was
Don't
close.
remind me of that score.
But
Oh my God.
let me just make my point. Even when they let go of the rope, they still didn't let it get too embarrassing until Missouri, when it's the last game. You're not going to a bowl. You're just trying not to be injured off season.
Well, but I mean, at the same time, again, we talked about this in pregame, and you and I talked about it throughout the game. Majority of these mistakes that we're making, and majority of these turnovers that we're making, are self-inflicted.
Absolutely.
My point is this: how in the hell do you get a false start on the damn center?
Yeah,
you control the whole offense.
You're the guy that you're the one that controls the snap, all of that. So, and you're the one calling out the protection. So, like we were talking earlier, there is a lot going on. He does have a lot going through his head, and it's easy to get off on the snap count, flinch, whatever. It's easier than you believe, even when you're not the center. I didn't play center. I was the backup center, but I played guard, and it was easy for me at times to jump off. I usually had a game where I'd have a false start for the first few games till coach threatened me against North Little Rock tonight.
Well, and like I said,
it needs a threat. You need the threat to straighten up, and you got a players coach. And I'm not a big fan of players coaches, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not saying they can't be successful, but you usually need a stern coach that really gets the best out of the players. Players coaches tend to let things slide. They may talk about it, but they'll never do anything about it. They don't pull you out for making a stupid penalty after a play or something like that. So you have your good and your bad with both. And of course, you can always throw out people like Saban. I mean, but who you going to compare him against? He's the best of the best.
True. But I mean, at the same time, though, when what it all boils down to is just we have to
breathe.
Yeah, that too. I, and we're gonna be joined by another member of our staff from inside the hog pen after the break. But before we do, where do you go from here? I mean, the schedule doesn't get any easier. And it's
No,
6-6. Now you're looking at maybe 5-7 if you're lucky, 4-8 at best.
you can still get 6. I think LSU is gettable. Missouri might be gettable. I mean, look what Vandy did to them. What was it, last week? So, and Vandy should have won that game if they made the field goal. So you do have that to look at. Everybody's gettable, beatable. Tennessee's going to be the tougher one. Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Texas are obviously going to be your toughest matchups on paper.
Man, I just
we need to brace ourselves because we're going to take some losses here, and it's going to get a little rocky, and people are going to want to just start to fire Sam immediately. But remember, when you're firing Sam, you're firing Bobby, you're firing T. Will, and T. Will is the one that's bringing in the safety and the linebackers and all these top recruits that we have that we claim we can't get. We're getting them with this staff right now. So
yes.
you need to we need to find wins. We find wins to get to a bowl. I think we can let the water settle and build. But if we fire it, we're starting over again. We're doing what we've been doing for the last decade since he left.
Yeah, unfortunately. We're going to dig more into that on the other side of the break. You're listening and watching special edition coverage of Inside the Hog Pen, continuing post-game coverage of the Southwest Classic here on Inside the Hog Pen's special edition live from the 2024 Little Rocktoberfest. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, Hog Fanatics! We at Inside the Hog Pen are thrilled to announce that SeatGeek is now a sponsor. As brand ambassadors, we're excited to share that SeatGeek is a ticket app that simplifies the ticket buying process for all your favorite events. They provide a 0 to 10 score for each ticket, with green indicating a good deal and red indicating a not so good deal. As a special offer, Hog Fanatics can get $20 off their first ticket purchase by using the code INSIDEHOGPEN. Check out our socials for the link and remember to use the code INSIDEHOGPEN.
Yeah! I'm telling you right now, that has got to be the weirdest music I have ever heard. I still cannot get used to that music. Welcome back to continuing post-game coverage of the Southwest Classic here on the Inside the Hog Pen special edition from the 2024 Little Rocktoberfest. Razorback Zach hanging out with you, as always, alongside my legendary and quite intimidating co-host of the evening, Matt Hart. And we're now joined by our special analyst, deep inside the Sideline Radio Network compound, D-Mad, newly married, I should say. What's up, D-Mad?
I think the emphasis should be on special in that whole title.
You know what? As long as you're not Swami, I don't care.
No, I had to go run and grab a beer so I could join y'all.
What, am I the only one not drinking? I'll take my water right now.
Not to mention we need it after that game. Yes.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
I brought you enough Dr. Pepper.
There you go. I'm going to see if I can take some home, too. So, D-Matt, you know, we were talking on post-game, and Matt and I have been talking throughout the afternoon about this game. Like I said, most of these penalties and stuff. By the way, if you guys want in on the action, leave us a question or comment inside the Cam Productions live fan feedback on YouTube and Facebook. Self-inflicted wounds continue.
So I honestly think that a lot of this has, like, the turnovers. Yeah, they're detriments to the team. We got to get over the turnovers, but everybody's going to turn over the ball every now and then. It's the stupid turnovers. It's the running to the right, not throwing the ball away. It's the stupid plays, the hidden yardage. So what I'm kind of getting at is we have like as much as I like to gripe about certain things that me and the beard talk about. He is right about one thing. Our execution is terrible. We have terrible execution, and we have got to find a way to get better at that.
I think part of that could be the slow start, with that we have talked about and tried to brace people on with Bobby and his return and when he installs at new places and we referred to earlier with about Cook and DJ on DJ's show talking about how they're Taylor's at a sophomore level when we're wanting them to be at a graduate level. Everybody's new to this system, and we have to be accepting and tolerant of that because otherwise you're putting unrealistic expectations on these players because there's a lot going on. This is a complex system. This is not what you have with Kendall Brawls, which is basically throw it to the guy standing on the line of scrimmage if he's uncovered. Otherwise, run the ball, basically. It's just a two-read system. That's why some players thrived in that system and others, and the same ones struggled in different systems.
You're right,
That,
and it's sorry to cut you off,
no,
but
you're good.
people also have to realize for a lot of the players on the team, this is their third coordinator in 3 years, and
Absolutely.
that's not something that you just snap and it's just fixed. That takes time, and as much as I'm frustrated today or after Oklahoma State, I do know. I'm not gonna say that because it's gonna just spark a whole new debate that I don't even want to hear about. It's gonna get better with Bobby Petrino as that offensive coordinator. You just gotta give it time. And Arkansas fans are kind of just worn out by it's gonna get better, it's gonna get better, it's gonna get better. But if we know anything about Bobby Petrino is he knows how to coach an offense. And you have to give it time.
In the Camp Productions live fan feedback, Dennis Gamble says, I don't think the fan base is going to accept keeping Coach Sam Pittman beyond this year if we have another losing season. He simply lost the faith of some of the fan base, and that translates into dollars. At this point, Matt, I don't think it's some of the fan base. I honestly believe it's beginning to be all of the fan base.
I think your minimum is the bowl game. You got to win 6 games. You got to show improvement. 5 and 7. You can't. We've seen this before, and we're tired of not being a part of bowl season. And we have bigger aspirations, of course, but and as we were talking about earlier, those extra practices is just like another spring practice where you get all those reps in, not only for your starters, but for these young guys that are, sitting backing up. That's where you build your depth is during that time. You don't build your depth during the season. You build your depth in the off season. Because right now you're just the only time they're getting any reps other than just with the twos is if a guy's injured. That's the only time they're really getting a lot of the reps. You got your ones. That's what you're focused on. You got to get ready for the next week, the next game plan. And back to the changing of offensive coordinators, you got a lot of verbiage you got to learn. Sometimes there's a little bit of crossover. It's not that frequent, but you're going to have some words that meant something last year that mean something different this year. And then you're also going to, have plays. Yes.
They're fast.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And you got the whole new system that nobody's really talking about or where they're in your ear. What's really being said in those ears?
And
in the helmet.
Yeah, and the thing about it though is you have up to 15 seconds on the play clock to talk to your quarterback. But we heard it throughout the afternoon that Bobby Petrino was pulling Taylor Green to the side, trying to calm him down, trying to boost his confidence. I don't want to hear that. That's the problem. Is I don't want to hear that out of your starting quarterback. Now I get it. Sometimes you have.
Or the fact that he's rattled.
Oh yeah, exactly. The fact that he's rattled.
Did anybody pay attention to the post-game press conference last week with the players?
I saw part of it.
Well, I don't remember which player it was because I just heard the audio of it. I didn't watch it. but one of the players was talking about how tailing was jittery, and they were openly talking about it. And I'm sure they got a word after the press conference about saying something like that, but they were saying how jittery he was and nervous, or however you want to take it. But that is a negative sign. And there's an aspect, a mental aspect, not just of knowing the plays, but having confidence that is underrated, or not taken into account by a lot of people. That not only do you have to know the plays, you have to have the confidence to execute the plays and what to do when the play breaks down, and that comes with repetition. And they're not even halfway through their first season of it. We're not. Let's say they got here on average, I don't know, let's say February. So we're 7 months in, and they haven't been able to practice all that time. So it's not 7 straight months of it. So you got a lot to learn. You can read it so much, but you got to learn to react and what to do when the defense takes away that. That's the nuances that really come into it, and that changes the playing
It's
field when you
easy.
get on the same page.
It's easy to understand it on a drawing board. It's when the
Exactly.
live bullets are happening is when you really start to understand it. And that kind of goes back to the whole Tyler Wilson, Ryan Mallett thing. Ryan Mallett got a year's worth of understanding because he had a red shirt that first year, and he was able to get a year's full of understanding on the whole system. Still struggled that first year, but
For those of you that are watching, that was not a cold beer. That was a Dr. Pepper. For the live stream, that was a Dr. Pepper. Just want to make that clear.
With a cold beer.
Okay, so is that another one of those Fireball ones?
Yes, that's why I keep going back to. I don't even really want to try the others. No disrespect to any of the other fine people here, but I heard about this one and I liked it.
So while I was doing the beer stein competition, I asked the guys, I said, okay, how did you make this? And they take wood chips, right? And they soak it in Fireball. And they take the wood chips and they freeze it and they unfreeze so the wood expands and gets real big into those wood chips. And then they pour Fireball in it, and then they mix the brew with it. Well, they take they take the brew first and put it in the wood chips. They take the wood chips out, filter it, of course, not to make so make sure the splinters and everything else. And then they leave a little bit of Fireball in the bottom of it as they mix the brew.
It's good. You don't really taste it until the very end. You get just a little hint of cinnamon. If somebody doesn't like it, I would say try it, because it's not. If you don't like Fireball, Hot Damn, any of that stuff, this is not the same category. Basically,
So
this is a beer with a tiny cinnamon hint at the end.
So you know how I get my Fireball taste? Red Hots.
Yeah.
Candy.
Yeah.
I don't drink. I've crossed over 3,000 days sober, so when I'm tempted to drink, I just eat Red Hots.
Man, I commend you for being able to do this. And
it's not easy, dude.
I understand.
But guys, with Tailing Green being so jittery and so I'm going to go ahead and say unfocused, because that's what he is. I mean, he started out hot. Is it the playbook he's not understanding? Is it the coaches speak that he's getting from Bobby Petrino that he's not understanding? I mean, there has to be an underlying reason. And again, I may be playing devil's advocate here. There's got to be an underlying reason why he just cannot settle down in the pocket. And for God's sakes, quit running backwards.
God, don't get me started on that one.
Well, Dylan, I mean, come on, man. He run, and I get it. Matt Jones did the same thing. But you're running 30 yards backwards to gain 4 yards. You're six. What? He's 6'6".
Mm-hmm.
Just lean forward. That's all you got to do is lean forward.
Something I noticed today is he stepped up in the pocket a lot more today than he had. But when we're talking about coming out the gate swinging, as I said that Zach would say, it was UAPB. It is what it is.
Why you got to take words out of my mouth? I mean, what did I ever? No, you know what? I'm not going to ask that.
Please don't.
I'm not going to ask that.
Probably not a good idea.
Nah,
but
I'm gonna do it.
UAPB, like they weren't really a test at all. Like,
Yeah, that shouldn't even be. It's like
it
playing
was
a high
a
school
good
team.
it was a good way of saying that are the players going to be able to work in the system? They should have had a gradual ramp up, sort of like what Ole Miss does, but a little bit more of a ramp up. Ole Miss kind of just, we went from down here to up here to here, back up here. And
I really
What are you
wish
laughing at?
Jesse was. I really wish Jesse was on this because he would.
Sausage.
Yeah, and that's going on the blooper reel, Bob. By the way. So if just to give you a heads up, so around Christmas when we take our holiday break, Jesse is releasing our gag reel, our blooper reel from all of our podcasts and live shows, and it's mainly going to be me, but now we got to add Dylan into this because the sound effects. It was like my mic cut out. How did it go? Yeah.
It's kind of like the old, what's the ventriloquist? Meow guy.
Peanut.
There you go.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break. After the break, we're going to continue our post-game coverage of the Southwest Classic. You're listening to special edition coverage from the 2024 Little Rocktoberfest. We'll be right back after this from Meeks Design.
Meeks Design is your one-stop shop for custom clothing with a personal touch. At Meeks Design, we can help you tell your story through your wardrobe. Your imagination on a hat, shirt, pullover, or nearly anything wearable. And while you're picking out some custom clothing, check out the one-of-a-kind handmade soaps from the Bobcat Soap Company. Find us on Facebook and let us create custom swag just for you at Meeks Design.
I'm never going to get used to that music. I'm just never going to get used to it. It just, wow, is all I'm going to say. Welcome back to a special edition of coverage of Little Rock 2024 Little Rocktoberfest. I've got an echo.
Sure do.
Who's echoing? I don't know what's going on there. But welcome back to special coverage of the 2024 Little Rocktoberfest. If I can get it out. Blah, 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 blah. I promise I haven't been the one drinking.
Sausage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one earned it. I earned that one. But during the break, my boss, God bless her soul, is an A&M fan. But she gave an interesting quote, or she gave an interesting point, and I want to read it. She said, since 2011, Arkansas is on their, well, not their seventh coach. Well, yeah, on their seventh coach.
2011.
Yeah.
I had it pulled up.
Petrino, John L., Bert, Chad, Sam.
Are we going to really count John L. Smith, though?
She says, doesn't a team have to?
Yeah,
she says, yeah. She says, and Reggie Herring.
6.
Well, no, Reggie Herring was 06.
Bobby Petrino, John L. Smith, Brett Bielema, Chad Morris, Barry Lunny, Sam Pittman.
Oh.
So 6.
I didn't do
I wouldn't count Barry Lunny either, but.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
So she says, doesn't a team have to get some cohesion and respect over time with a coach before they actually become a team? Y'all haven't had a coach long enough to build a team relationship. I disagree because of Brett Bielema because he was here 5 years, but at the same time, she does have a point.
Yeah.
It's just.
But I mean, it's the head coach is just kind of the figurehead, but the position coaches are the ones that build the relationships, that do all the recruiting with the players. You know, that's where all the bonds are formed,
right?
For the most part, and the coaches usually treat it like a business and just manage the operations. That's all I've ever been told. Especially when I ask about Van Horn to baseball players and stuff, they say he just treats it like a business. You know, he just treats it straight up, and just.
Well, essentially, that's what it is a business.
Right.
You know, especially now that the players are getting paid. But the problem is it's no longer, and I've said this and I will continue to say this until somebody proves me wrong. It's not about the name on the front of the jersey anymore or the logo on the helmet. It's all about the name on the back and how much money they can make. It's not about playing time.
Mhm.
It's not about loyalty to the program. It is strictly all about how much money you can make.
Right. I mean, all the coaches have alluded to it. Saban said that's why he got out. It's because it's not how can you get me to the NFL? It's how much you're going to pay me.
Yeah.
All the basketball coaches, Jay Wright, Roy Williams, Coach K. There's been a ton of them that says the same thing.
Yeah.
It astounds me that when we were watching it during the Houston Nutt era, when we were watching it, hell, I would even say during the Bobby Petrino era, that you saw the loyalty to the program. And now that we have a football video game. Whoop-de-freaking-do. That's what all of us guys have been wanting for 10 years. I get that.
Mhm.
But look at what the result has been because of the effect of the NIL. It's unregulated, which we're not even going to touch on that. We'll get into that in a ITHP overtime podcast. But it's unregulated. The transfer portal. I mean, look at what's his kid's name? He was like transferred to like 6 different schools. Started out at Florida State.
There's so many you can't narrow it down to just one person anymore.
That's true.
The guy that's at Miami, Cam, whatever.
Cam Rising.
Yeah,
he's at Utah.
Started out at Florida. He the kid that started out at Florida State, went to Oregon State, and then finally landed at Utah and can't stay healthy. Isn't that the kid? It's the same kid, right?
I think so. Yeah, it's just the turnovers crazy. There's no loyalty, like you said. You're not going to have players come back. Imagine if you have a good team and they have an anniversary. They have an anniversary ceremony at a halftime before a game or something, and they come back, and you're like, all these players were here 1 year.
Yeah. Hey, I've got to step away and do my some MC duties real quick. I'll be right back.
And I also think it's really hard to coach players hard with the transfer portal and NIL and stuff, because everybody has that ego now to say, well, who are you to talk to me that way? And that is like the most frustrating thing about it. Is like, for me, when I was growing up, football wasn't about hitting people and showing who's a bigger person. It was more about building characters than anything, like forming you into an adult. That is the overlying thing about football.
Mm-hmm.
It's turned into a money thing now. It's a cash grab. If you see all the people that are in college football, you probably have a handful, and you have a handful of people that do it because they love football. Everyone will say they love football, but we all know who loves it and who doesn't. And that just kind of makes it to the point where it's hard to celebrate certain players, especially when you're a fan of a team. Because if you take KJ Jefferson, I have a KJ jersey. I love KJ Jefferson. And I think he transferred because it was his time. He needed to go, whatever. He put your heart on the line for Arkansas. I respect you. Do I think he quit at the end of the season? Kinda, but not my problem because you were 4-8. So I can't. It's hard for me to sit here and say, yeah. I sit here and think, if this team had KJ Jefferson, how much better would they be right now? And everybody will sit there and turn their back and go, well, he quit on the team last year. Okay, so did the whole team. And it's just, this era of football is just really hard to be a fan of, because we are only a fan of that logo up there. We're not a fan of the people that are playing the game. We can only be a fan of the logo now. And it gets to the point where it's really hard. Sorry, I just had to step off my soapbox real quick.
No, I get it. But
drink some more.
I hate to put a negative light on what you said, though, but KJ was a little bit of an issue with the team.
Yeah.
He didn't hang out with the players. He wasn't I guess for the lack of a better way of putting it, is friendly. A quarterback is supposed to hang out with his offensive lineman
He's
and
the
try to
leader.
be on the same page and work out with your receivers and tight ends and backs. And KJ didn't do any of it. He didn't do any extra stuff outside. And since Taylor Green walked on campus, he's been doing that. And
Yeah.
I feel that's why there's a little bit of belief. But he's still got to execute. He's still got to deliver. I mean, that's ultimately what matters. But at the same time, KJ, if he were here, like you said, I think KJ would have had similar outcomes. To be honest with you, he was good at throwing a deep ball, but I feel like we would have had issues in the intermediate and somewhat short game. He would have done a lot of pulling and running and trying to bully him, bully the defensive line today. But I don't know if he would have broke any runs like Taylor Green did.
Yeah. And where I'm coming from is the fact that I think KJ has an understanding of the offensive line and being able to dictate to the offense of like, hey, we know where the pressure's coming, so we can at least prepare for it enough. And to the point right now, it just does not seem like Talon's got that understanding. And it will come with time. It's just it's one of those things that's going to be really frustrating for us for the rest of the season to see it. We're going to see him take steps forward, and it is what it is for right now. But everybody's got to hold on because it's not. This is not where any of us want this team to be. We want this team to be, putting up 40 a game, and it's just not where they're at right now. And everybody, just like what JP Gregory just said, it is time to nut up or shut up. But I also want to challenge you, JP, by saying, who are you going to hire to bring in NIL and players? This isn't like basketball. Like, there's not a Coach Cal out there that's going to be able to hire. There's only one Coach Cal of football right now, and his name is Kirby Smart. That's the only person that's putting out the time, or not the time, the amount of resources to be able to hire people like that. And there's not a big pool of of coaches that are like Coach Cal.
Well, then you also got basketball and football are on two different playing fields because
Yeah.
for basketball,
You have 13
we've been brought
players.
back to prominence and we're kind of a higher thought of school. And somewhat you could say kind of a destination more in recent years and in the past. But as far as football, we've never really been that other than what we had with Petrino, and it was never at the top echelon.
Petrino's in the 60s.
Right,
Pretty much
right.
it.
And I've been hearing a lot of him not necessarily really wanting to be a head coach again. So, and honestly, if I had my opinion, I'd rather him be offensive coordinator than head coach.
Yeah.
I mean, we had good players under him, but he wasn't exactly the biggest recruiter. He got, in a way, you could say he walked into the first class, and we had the three receivers and Greg and everything else. But other than that, it was kind of on the fly. But the defense was always suspect, even though we had good players that went to the NFL and everything. But I mean, I remember the Vandy game where it took a 99-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown just to tie the game. Then we had to come back and take a lead. This was all at the 2 minutes left in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And this is with Bobby, with Ryan, all the players that we hold in high regard. This is with those players. So it's not easy in the SEC. So
No.
we can't keep it. But it still takes better execution. And again, we come back to it. We got players learning a new system again, like you said, third system in 3 years. You could say fourth if you want to throw in Guyton for his little bit, but I'm sure he just ran the same system there, just his different play calling. But it's a lot to take in. We got a lot going on, and in a way, they could. They're not going to make the best decisions. So some of them may be studying their butt off on that tournament. Some of them may be playing a video game Okay, so good.
And I think we live in a world of instant gratification. Everybody feels like they need it right now, and that's not how the world's built. And I struggle with that myself, especially watching this team. Is I'm frustrated watching this game. Like Chad Morris years, we don't like to talk about those years. I would watch the first half of the game, get so pissed off, and turn off the TV. I'm not turning off the TV, but it's taxing. I'll put it that way to watch this team sometimes, and it's just one of those things. We've got to be able to hold and be able to kind of be able to move along and grow with the team. I mean, if you're not a fan of this team right now, you're not really a fan. You know,
Right,
it's not how you're a fan when you're up, but it's a fan when you're down. You know.
right, right. And this, we got a lot of fight in them. They like the coaches. There's a better energy, whatever word you want to use to describe it. There's a better atmosphere in that locker room with the players. Um, I, it's just we just gotta fix through the same. There's belief.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of had it last year uh, a little bit, but last year was just a big cluster all the way around. Like I alluded to on one of the shows we did earlier, that Sam was changing his personality type approach towards the players last year that he found to be the bad cop, and now he's gone back to just being him, which is more friendly. Now he'll still tell you sternly, but it doesn't really put any fear into you or anything. It's what's going to drive you is if you how much you respect him and you care about him. It's not one of those that you fear that you're not going to get on the field. So, like I said, you get the pros and cons with all that, but I really hope that we can pull this together and manufacture 3 more wins so that we can get to a bowl game and help Sam some pretty long because really, I think honestly our best case scenario is what I've been told that Sam's vision was is that him eventually got off into the sunset and that the staff continues to stay intact and before you know probably T will take over and T will they like him he's the one they fight for if you watch the video after the game last week they end up hugging to him yeah great
Mm-hmm.
You can motivate them but um,
And like I don't know if you heard it during the game, but apparently Armstrong went up and kind of checked the offensive line, and like it's really good to do that if you have a nucleus around your team that is full of accountability, you know, and that's what they preach in those post games. We are accountable and all that stuff, and there's to a point where like somebody's got to hold somebody accountable, and the fact that we have somebody in the locker room that's willing to do that is very important because probably wasn't there last year. But the fact that we do have accountability on the team from the players is a very good sign going forward too. That it's not just going to be if you they call them loafs. If you loaf around the field, it will be talked about.
Mhm.
And almost use a different word, but the loaf is the better word.
Yeah, honestly, if you think about it, there's only a couple of people that could really say that, and it have a backbone. You'll listen to them.
Yeah.
If it was just some younger guy or something, you would kind of consider it bickering and fighting amongst the team. But when it's one of your leaders, one of your standouts and stars doing that, you're going to
You
listen to
listen.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise, if it were me and it was just kind of a
If it was the
like
athletic trainer doing it, then everybody's going to get
right
laughed at.
or a backup or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm just like, shut up, dude. I'm the
Yeah.
one out here. You don't understand what this is like, what all's going on, what they're doing to us. The rest of the whole team is to screw up what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to adjust, especially when you don't know what they're doing. and running stunts and spins and blitzes on top of it, and bringing more people than you can bet sometimes. But they just helped me get it past nothing this year, really, other than the rest of the team.
Well, let's go ahead and take a little bit of a break real quick. We'll be right back in just a second. We're going to hear from one of our ads real quick. I think we're going to go to Meeks Design. We'll be right back with the 2024 Little Rocktoberfest.
Mix Design is your one-stop shop for custom clothing with a personal touch. At Mix Design, we can help you tell your story through your wardrobe. Your imagination on a hat, shirt, pullover, or nearly anything wearable. And while you're picking out some custom clothing, check out the one-of-a-kind handmade soaps from the Bobcat Soap Company. Find us on Facebook and let us create custom swag just for you at Mix Design.
All right, welcome back to Inside the Hog Pen. We got a special guest from HogHQ, Matt Hart. I feel like I hear Mr. Razorback Zach in the background, but he is, I'm sure, making the rounds right now.
Giving out tickets, so gift tickets.
Something to do with tickets.
Yes.
Okay.
Gift cards and stuff like that to prizes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you're not at Little Rocktoberfest, let me just tell you, like me, I am missing out. I'm doing my best with my Dos Equis, but from what I'm hearing, I should have been there to try that special, what is it called? The Fireball beer.
Yeah.
From what y'all were telling me, it seems like I should have stayed and been there, but you know,
it's really good. Well, it's a great cause. It's a great environment. I'm having a blast. It's my first time here, and I'm having a great time.
Man, I was out there last year. It was really fun. I would have made it this year, but I mean, I did come out there. I had to drop off a couple of cases of Coca-Cola, just FYI. But me and my now wife have been just running and gunning lately. I just told her we're not gonna be able to make it. We're just gonna go ahead and just kick up for the weekend and be able to kind of exhale. And so Matt, tell me a little bit about HogHQ. I haven't got the chance to listen to it just yet.
All right. Well, HogHQ, if you don't know, it's a group on Facebook where there's several of us, myself included, me, Adam, and DP, and several of the admins. Where we try to be a headquarters for all hog information. We have a bunch of media members that you know of and hear about that share their articles in there. And then we also have a show on Sunday nights at 8 o'clock. That's in the group on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. We have a channel there. And then on all of your podcast streaming outlets, Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff, iHeart. You can find us there. And we're kind of like y'all. We're hog fans, no matter what, but we're gonna keep it real. And we also try to share some insider info that you won't hear from the media. Like when Wes Moore was tweeting out about Calipari possibly coming to Arkansas, we were actually live on air, and I was telling everybody it's $7 to $8 million contract, $5 million NIL roughly. So, we've always been supporters of y'all, and we really appreciate all that y'all have done supporting us. And this has been a great time. I'm really happy that y'all have invited me and given me the opportunity to come on, and I'd love to do it again.
Well, hopefully this is the first of many crossovers. I know we've kind of reached out and talked about this before, but hopefully we can continue doing this. I do have a question for you. So since you brought up the Calipari era thing,
yeah,
a lot of the media around the time that Muss was leaving was talking about was talking about how I can't remember the exact. I think it was solely said this has nothing to do more than with a coach that can't get along with the athletic director. Was there any smoke to that fire that you know of?
It only came down to contract, really. That's basically what it was. That I guess you could say NIL, but no, there was no. Him and Hunter got along. Hunter gets along with all the coaches. Hunter's pretty much a likable guy. That video that he remixed and put the different ending on, I think that was a crapper get off the pot
That
moment.
took the words
In
right
a
out of my
cryptic way.
mouth.
You know how I kind of do cryptic posts in HogHQ sometimes, like I did this week about somebody. I think that was his way of doing it, of saying, "Come on, there's all these rumors you say
You keep
secretly
on
say
putting
you
your neck
want
out for
out.
jobs.
Yeah, you want Louisville, you want SM, you want all these other jobs secretly. Well, let's do it. I'm not giving you another
And
contract.
the fact that he was his own agent didn't help either.
Yeah. But he got his from the beginning. Anybody that knew that Musselman wanted to go back home to his mom on the West Coast, his home, and finish off his career there, and that's what he's doing. I wouldn't be surprised if he's there 5, 6 years or so, and then rise off into the sunset.
Yeah, man.
But we could not have gotten a better outcome than we did.
Oh no, I know. Like, it was one of those. Like, I don't know if you know this, the little Arthur meme where he's squeezing his fist. I feel like that was probably the situation when he got to SC and realized who we replaced him with. He had that Arthur meme going on in his head.
Yes. Sorry, stuff was going on around me.
You're good. I'm kind of wondering the same thing. I think is that Miss Leslie? I can't remember.
Yeah, they're giving out the awards for the Bears.
Zach, are you back?
I'm back, I think, for the moment. How did we go? When I left y'all, we were talking football. How in the world did we get to football from basketball?
I got depressed and had to change the mood.
You know what? I'm not. Leave that one alone. I'm leaving that one alone.
Well, what happened was I told Matt to kind
I
of.
brought it up. Yeah.
What did I leave you alone for
shiny
5
thing.
minutes? I leave you alone for 5 minutes, and we've divulged into chaos.
I was plugging the show and the channel.
All I gotta say, Zach, is you said season's over. We're talking about basketball now.
You're never gonna let me live that down, are you?
Nope, never, not once.
Okay, so you know what? I'm not even gonna.
Hey, Zach, check the screen. Respect, Jesse. Respect.
I got a finger for you.
I don't know what I was right about, but I was apparently right about something.
Look, dude. Hey, on the look on the post game show, and I think even on the pregame, I think it was a post game show. I couldn't say a sentence without saying, maybe D-Mad was right, or D-Mad was right.
Oh my God! Stop the presses.
I know.
Stop the presses.
I know. I want to vomit myself. All right, there. I said it.
I said Jesse was right earlier today too. So
yeah, what the hell's going on?
But he is right. We have to execute. We are doing terrible at executing. We have got to get better at that.
Well, I mean, at the same time, it comes down to coaching. It comes down to coaching. Period, basically. And with like I said, with Taylor Green, he has to settle down. It can't be coaching from Bobby Petrino. It can't be, his quarterback's coach or the wide. It can't be anybody but him.
Everybody.
Oh Lord,
y'all.
Live from inside the hog pen.
I just got handed the microphone again. I'm look, D-Matt, I don't know if you can see this on the
I can.
But it is a microphone.
We can see.
I know. I just want to make sure that it was clear that it was a microphone and not the
what?
Not something else.
I don't know.
But
I would be here if it was.
That was that's wrong.
I would
Yes.
close my camera if it was.
No Diddy.
Hey! I'm not gonna R. Kelly that either. So no. So earlier they handed me the mic, and then somebody came along and put a little miniature Jimmy Hart bullhorn on my table, and so I had one in one hand
Lord.
and one in the other, and I was like giddy and drunk with power.
You need to kind of tone down the drunk rhetoric at the Little Rocktoberfest.
I mean, look at where we are, dude.
Might be
It
the one
fits.
here.
Hey, you know what, dude? I'm okay with that. And I am going to brag on myself because, yes, I am at the Little Rocktoberfest, but I've had Dr. Pepper and water all night, and you can attest to that.
That's right.
And
That's absolutely true.
I wouldn't say Matt's other half, maybe Matt's other third
Okay.
just tuned in.
No. For you know what? No, I'm not. For you Harry Potter fans out there. Oh man, let's real quick. Let's go to a break and
we just came back from one.
Oh, did you? We're gonna. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Looking ahead,
teams, huh?
looking ahead though, but looking ahead, you've got Tennessee on the horizon in 7 days. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Going into this, you had the opportunity to have national attention. Okay. And does this demoralize the team and ruin the team's mentality? Because again, the last couple of years, this has been the game that defines the entire season.
It has. I feel in a way there's been a little too much emphasis put on this one game, but I do understand it is important. All the games are important. It definitely hurts because of the gauntlet we got coming up, but we do got some winnable games. I feel like realistically, we have 4 winnable games left that we should be really in the ball game like today.
What are your 4 games? First off,
Mississippi State, LSU, was it Tech, and then Missouri.
I agree with the Missouri. They are not good.
okay, but they're okay if they're not good, but they're ranked, aren't they? I think they're ranked.
Ole Miss was top 10 too. See what happened to them.
I think so. Honestly, about that Ole Miss game, I think, like you said earlier, I think they underestimated Kentucky. Because think about it, and Dylan, you and I talked about it. You know, they come out of the season and they get thrashed by South Carolina, okay? And then they take Georgia to the very end, and quite literally the end of the quite literally to the end. You know, and now you come out and you beat the what? They were what, fifth, sixth in the country?
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think
In their house.
Yeah.
This wasn't at Kentucky. This was at their house.
So something that Lane Kiffin said after the game was, I don't think the non-conference slate helped us like get prepared for SEC play. 2 problems with that. He said that last year, and he said that again this year. So obviously you're scheduling the wrong opponents for one, and for 2, go ahead.
Well, he doesn't schedule those. That's usually the administration, and they're doing that years in advance. And so, like when we had Notre Dame scheduled out for 5-6 years, we've had Arkansas State scheduled out for how long?
Well, is that Notre Dame game still happening? Because I'd heard they backed out of that.
They did.
Okay, but I'm just saying
we had Michigan as well too.
Yeah, see,
yeah,
we had them scheduled out for so long in advance. We talked about them, and then it never happened. You got the same situation here. Now those schools backed out on us. Ole Miss, yes, could back out on those schools, but you got to find somebody whose schedule matches up or has open dates matching up with you as well. And it's a tough little thing, and especially when you're finding ones that you really want to go against.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. We have got to replace UAPB on our schedule.
I completely agree.
Because
he's trying to help out the school.
It doesn't well, and I get that, and I get it's in the U of A system, and I understand that. But at the same time, play a power. I want to see one of these non-conference Power 5 matchups.
I would like
Okay.
to see UAPB where Louisiana Tech is. Give an extra bye week
At
in the
the
middle.
end,
Of, yeah.
Yeah.
And for
Well,
me, it does. I don't know if anybody spends time in Pine Bluff, but I've spent quite a bit of time down there.
More
and,
time than
from
you'd like
Pine
to
Bluff.
admit.
well, honestly, like there's not a lot of good stuff in Pine Bluff, and I know that's
Hey, hold
Gary.
on. Hold on.
Oh, wow. That is, look, for those
There's
of
a
you watching.
casino.
Look, for those of you watching the
One
live.
thing.
Look, hold on, D.
One
For
thing.
those of you watching the live stream and have been tuning in all afternoon, that is the most vocal I have got this man.
That's my home. I'm a zebra. Come on now.
I
Are
thought
you
that
a
was the
zebra?
I'm a zebra. Yeah.
Oh, my dad was a
I played with-
Wildcat.
Played with Mark Bradley, who went to Oklahoma and played for the Bears.
But so you know this too. Like there's not a lot of income in the Pine Bluff area, and
Absolutely.
and there's only one really good thing about UAPB, the school itself. It's the fact that Torrey Hunter has donated money there
The baseball field,
to the baseball and softball field.
Yep. They
That
just put a
is a-
scoreboard up and bleachers at the baseball field.
And that has helped a lot with just UAPB. And I feel like we need to sacrifice a little bit to help UAPB because just for me, for my purposes, I am the dumb person who will say, yeah, let's help out in state. You know, I don't care about playing like UALR or Arkansas State. Mainly Arkansas State. I don't care about playing Arkansas State. It's kind of cool, but not really. But when it comes to schools like UALR, who doesn't have a very big funding budget, and then Pine Bluff, who has almost no funding, it's like there's not going to be another school in this nation that would care about UAPB. So we need to be the ones that care about them, in my opinion. That's what I think. And I think what we pay them $200,000 to come play in Little Rock. I mean, that's a day trip for them.
Well,
That's
but you gotta
literally an
remember
hour
too,
drive.
Right. And honestly, a better matchup, I think, would be a UCA team. But as far as competition,
and you know, we've talked about this a lot too on our me and MC have is make a full day of it. If you're gonna do something like that in Little Rock, make it a day of it. With A-State, do something like this: A-State UCA or UCA versus UAPB in the morning, 11 o'clock kickoff. UAPB's band is midday entertainment. Your 6 o'clock kickoff, Arkansas State.
I like that idea.
That's a
I like
great
that
idea.
idea.
You got to clean out the stadium, though.
That's what the mid-afternoon entertainment is. They clear the stadium out.
They also have to have good plumbing.
Well, I was just about to go.
Yeah.
I was like, you got to have enough water, you got enough plumbing, you got to have the AC for the media people. But they haven't exactly ran the basic things yet to hold an all-day mass person, mass visitor events.
I want to know, and again, we can, we're getting off in the weeds here, but I want to know something, and I want to talk to somebody who was at the Little Rock game this year and last year, because I was hot under the collar when I went this year. I didn't even get to my seat.
I was really mad last year.
I never got to my seat.
What happened?
So I had tickets, thanks, by the way, to Harris Made Chef Services. And, we got in, and, War Memorial, you have to block off part of the concourse to let the team through, pregame ceremonies, all that jazz.
Right.
Well, this year, and War Memorial, they if you're sitting in a certain section, you have to go in that certain gate.
Yeah.
They didn't do that this year. They opened the floodgates and let anybody in any gate. That caused the congestion so bad. And on top of closing part of the concourse, you couldn't move at all. There were so many people stuck in it. That's why, and that's, everybody kept saying, and I will defend this. Everybody kept saying, well, the stadium looks empty. We were all stuck in the freaking concourse.
Wow.
It also doesn't help having that game on a damn Thursday.
No, it's all. Particularly, I feel like that's about design. in the game there.
Well,
so I was frustrated last year. They had the game scheduled at 7 or 6 o'clock, and they moved it up to like 2:30. I was like, "What the hell are y'all doing?" And it
Jesse,
just we don't want to talk about the football game right now. Okay.
Look. This is what I will say. This, okay. This is what happens when you let me run the joint and you and MC take the night off. I tried to warn you, but no. So you know what? You can take your butt back to bed. Love you, Jesse.
But
that's a good one, to be honest with you.
It just seems like the planning for the game has not been very fan friendly as of late, and I think that's the very like easiest thing to say. But like I'm talking about just like the schedule wise, it's so easy to make the game on a Saturday and at night when especially it's not televised.
Hey, we're gonna step away for a break real quick, and on the other side of the break, we're gonna talk a little bit about the Little Rocktoberfest and the event going on here. So you're listening to Inside the Hog Pen Special Edition live from the 2024 Little Rocktoberfest. Back right after this from a word from Alan Kerr Advisors.
Hi, I'm Alan Kerr, President and founder of Alan Kerr Advisors. As an advisor group, our goal is to ensure a positive reputation with government agencies and legislative bodies to provide timely and proactive solutions for all of our clients. We have successfully represented our clients with targeted campaigns that get results. Our focus is on the insurance industry, but we're experts in other areas of business as well. We're a full-service, nationwide advisor group with legislative and regulatory relationship networks in all 50 states. We can assist companies in getting their first certificate of operation and then help them expand nationwide. We can also help businesses create and launch new products, setting up standard risk pools, and creating captive entities. So, if you're planning a company expansion, if you plan to create a captive, if you have a dispute with a regulator, or if you need an expert witness to win your case, if you're planning a merger or acquisition, or if you just need legislative guidance or access, your next call should be to Alan Kerr Advisors. Give us a call or click that contact button on the top of our website at alankerradvisors.com.
I swear to God, I'll never get used to that music. I'm going to start hearing that in my sleep. Welcome back to the special edition of Inside the Hog Pen live from the 2024 Little Rocktoberfest. They have let me loose in the pen, and now I've got Matt going crazy. But Matt, dude, you've perused the home brews. You've made fun of me as I did my MC job, by the way. Which, by the way, some of the gift cards, they had gift cards from like Lowe's, Academy Sports, which I found out I've been saying wrong all these years. I always thought it was Sports Academy. It's sports. It was the old Sports Authority. Okay, see, I wasn't the only one.
Okay.
I wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
But all of the benefits tonight go to Casting for Recovery, and it has to do with breast cancer awareness. And they use fly fishing as a way to recover from that, to kind of take your mind off of it. You know, I got to talking to a few of them, and you know, breast cancer. Everybody knows somebody that knows somebody that's affected with breast cancer, and this kind of, you know, alleviates the process and the harshness of the recovery, and just you get to relax. I've never been fly. I've been fishing before, but as we've learned earlier today, I don't have apparently the patience and the attention span for fly fishing.
It takes it.
So I googled it. I googled it during one of the breaks. Right, it's this long fishing pole with this little bitty thing, a little bit of reel on it, and apparently you whip it back and forth.
I don't know why you gotta take so many times. Why can't you just and then let it go?
Like normal fishing, right?
Yeah.
I'm afraid I might actually beat the hell out of somebody. I have ADHD. How am I supposed to catch a fish with this? Apparently it works. But so you've had a couple of the different brews out here.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, your favorite one so far has got to be the Fireball.
Absolutely.
What is it? A porter? I mean, what is it?
It is, well,
it's dark, whatever it is, right?
It's dark. Right? Yeah. Sorry, I need another one. But I was looking, I was like, man, I need another one. Yeah, it's dark. It's really good. I'm not the biggest beer connoisseur, so I'm not the best at describing it, but I like it. It's not real heavy or anything. It's pretty smooth, and I really like that it has a hint of cinnamon at the end. I like cinnamon, but for people that don't like Fireball or Hot Damn, it's not anything that don't let it scare you away, because it's not that powerful at all. You can barely taste it, but it's a nice little flavor at the end. I like it.
You know, and the way they made this, and like I said, we'll get back to the Camp Productions live fan feedback and more post-game coverage of the Southwest Classic here in a second. But the way they made this, and I talked to the guys down there who made it. So they take wood chips and they soak it in Fireball. And they freeze it, melt it to kind of get the wood to expand and soak up all that Fireball. They pour the brew in, like the actual hops and everything that they use or whatever. And they leave a little bit of Fireball at the very bottom, and they mix that all together. That's where the cinnamon and the Fireball taste comes from.
It's good.
So when I asked him about it, he said it's they age it as the poor man's Fireball barrels. You know, because the big barrels are like, you know, this big and 30 gallons or so. This one's very little because they're home brews. You make them in their garage. Some of the, I mean, you got a strawberry one out there that tastes like you're sipping on a strawberry shortcake. I saw.
I didn't get that one.
I'm not a big strawberry fan though.
I'm not the biggest strawberry fan, but I would have tried it.
But you guys got to come out to this. If you didn't make it out here tonight, next year, the 2025 Little Rocktoberfest, we are going to be here once again as the MC and covering the event, talking football with you. Hopefully, we're talking about a win next year versus another loss.
Yes.
Versus another loss. But you guys got to get out here. It's a great benefit. They involve charity events, charity organizations. So it's for a good cause. You guys got to get out of here. But back to this, back to college football. Things are getting chippy at this Illinois Penn State game. They're starting to get chippy. 14-7 there. It appears as though the fighting Bielemas, fighting Kurtz, as we call it, that undefeated streak might actually come to an end. We're 15 minutes away from that. 14-7 Penn State right now is your score. I want to get to this comment by Brian Hatch. He says the Pittman good old boy routine is getting old fast. And I agree. I get you, and I've said this many times. I know you want to be, it's talking about sentiment. I know you want to be the good guy. I know you want to earn everybody's respect. But as I've said many times, the coach standing on the other side, the other sideline, the opposing sideline, doesn't give a damn about how much you respect him. I mean, Lane Kiffin doesn't care. Josh Heupel doesn't care. For 20 years, Nick Saban didn't care. You have to get mean. You have to get authoritative. The CEO approach is not working.
It only works for certain coaches, I would say, and you got to have the threat of taking a player out of the game if they're not executing. But with that, you also have to have the depth. And so you kind of handcuff yourself if you don't have the depth or experience in that depth to replace those players that are making mistakes and they're not correcting them when they, repeatedly make those. And it's tough because if you have a center that's having snap issues and just can't seem to get it right, well, in any other sport, basically, you would take them out and find somebody who would. But if you don't really have a center that's prepared to go back in or to go in and step into place, then, you're going to be reluctant to do that, to make that move. But as far as the offense, though, Bobby, I think last week Bobby got a little bit of ridicule for not calling the greatest of games. I think Bobby called a decent game last week. I mean, he could have done a little better, but he had people open. We were just missing them. And this week, we had some people open again, and not being able to hit them because we didn't have the protection. And if you can't control the line of scrimmage, you can't control the game at all. And that's ultimately what it boils down to is the offensive line. Yes, you need accuracy, and Taylor gets a lot of the heat because he's the face of the offense. But if he didn't have the 5 guys in front of him providing protection, he's not going to be able to do anything. He's never going to make or reach his maximum potential.
Yeah. As we're wrapping up here from the 2024 Little Rocktoberfest, Matt, dude, I got to tell you, man, it's been fun. We got to do this again.
Definitely. It's been a blast here. It's been a great environment. A lot of great people. I definitely will be back next year, and I urge everybody that's watching to come out next year.
Notice he said great people, and I didn't say I was great, but I'm just kidding. No, dude, it's been fun, man. And big thank you to all of our sponsors: Harris Made Chef Services, Mix Design Company, Cam Productions, Alan Kerr Advisors, and our 2 newest sponsors, SeatGeek and Rock City Rap. Sorry, I had somebody talking to me, but I thought somebody was talking to me over here. Tune in Thursday night, 7 p.m. to a new episode of Inside the Hog Pen. Myself, Marcus MC Carlton, and Jesse the Beard Thurman back with you again. Hopefully, not licking our wounds from the Southwest Classic and looking ahead at Tennessee, talking about the soccer team, the volleyball team. I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of the night, fantastic rest of the weekend. Shake it off. You got 24 hours to sulk about this loss because it's Tennessee week, and we all know the Joe Adams punt, the redemption game of 99. There's so many historical moments in this rivalry that, man, it's going to be a fun one. For Matt Hart and all of us here at Inside the Hog Pen, I'm Razorback Zach. Thank you for watching our special edition coverage live from the 2024 Little Rocktoberfest. Until next time, so long, everybody.